Guys, welcome to Mr. Investor Real Estate Dojo. Today we're talking about which is basically calling and asking the sellers the Mr. Investor Seller Questionnaire form. So basically you call the sellers and you ask them the questionnaire form that I've already provided for you for free, and that's going to determine what kind of deal we have and how we're able to create a win-win situation. Okay, so guys, I'm going to take a lot of time and explain this idea for you because it's very, very important. Okay, especially if you're new. I don't care even if you're not new, you're going to still need this idea. Okay, it's very, very, very important. That's going to determine getting deals or just being an average investor, okay, not being able to close. I like to close 9 out of 10 deals, guys. Time is money, so I like to monetize my time as best as possible. And the reason I do that is because not I'm a greedy guy, is no, I truly care about the customer, and if I'm already spending my time with them, I want to solve their problem. I want to help them out get out of the situation they are in, because that's what I do. I'm a problem solver, and I solve people's problems, and therefore I always get rewarded, okay? So I've learned to earn. I never work for money. Let me say that again. I've learned to earn. Okay? I never work for money. I've never worked for money since high school, college, or even as an adult. I've never worked for money. I work for free. Okay? With free, I always make money down the line, guys. And the guys that work for money or a paycheck are maybe be living in a rat race, maybe be living check by check, okay, because they are so focused on the cheese or the money, okay, where I'm focused on the bigger goal of my life. And that's when I want to help you understand that if you focus on the goal and what you want out of life and willing to do the hard work, you can have everything, especially in America. Okay, guys? Now let's talk about talking to the seller. Okay, here's one of the most important things, guys. The most important thing. You got to be able to build rapport. You got to be able to build rapport with the seller. Okay? Now, a lot of people think they know what rapport is. But when I see them in action, they don't know what rapport is. Okay? Now, let me explain this. Building rapport simply means that the seller must like you. And for a seller to like you, you have to connect with them. You have to have similarities with them. I don't care if they're young or old. I don't care if, you know, what culture they're from or what religion they're from, or if they're short or fat, or if whatever their mentality is, whatever their philosophy is. We're all humans, guys. We're all the same, okay? So there's always something, if not multiple things, that we have similarity with our brothers and sisters, okay? And as an investor, I'm going to show you how to connect with people, okay? So when you talk to a seller and the seller is talking about, hey, they have a dog, or if you hear a dog barking and you happen to have a dog, boom, there you go, man. There you go. That take time to get off subject and talk to the seller about that thing that you guys have in similar, okay? For example, if I'm visiting a seller at their location and I see them having fitness equipment and I have nothing else in common with them, then guess what? I am going to take time to talk to them about the fitness equipment, okay? And talk about that 15, 20, as long as the seller wants, because now I'm connecting with the seller. So rapport building doesn't talk about the numbers, doesn't talk about the construction, doesn't talk about deal. The rapport building is talking about off-subject ideas that is dear to the seller, to their heart. Now that's what's dear to you. Nobody gives a root's ass about you, okay? The seller only cares about themselves, okay? I promise you guys, we all care about ourselves the most, okay? If there's a picture, if you took a picture with your friends, the first thing that you will look at is yourself, because that's what we do, man, okay? So the seller doesn't care about you or what you want, okay? Your job is put yourself last, okay? Work for free. Figure out what the seller wants, provide that. End of the day, you always get rewarded, man, okay? So it's very important that you guys build rapport, and the way to do that is to find similarities with the seller and connect with them and say, look, I do the same exact thing, or I've done the same exact thing, or I've been in the same exact situation, whatever the situation may be, and connect with them, okay? So asking the seller questionnaire, question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, is not a good way, guys. It needs to be a conversation, okay? All right? And in the seller questionnaires, we ask open-ended questions and close-ended questions, okay? Now, what is an open-ended question? It's a question that has unlimited answers. For example, why do you want to sell your property is an open-ended question, okay? All right? How much do you owe on your bank debt is a close-ended question, okay? Do you want to sell for what you owe on this property and get out underneath this debt? See, that's a close-ended question. It's going to say yes, no, maybe, and then a little explanation, okay? So we're going to, in the seller question, there's a bunch of open-ended and closed-ended question, but that's not report building, okay? When you ask an open-ended question, the seller will give you a lot of different things. Say A, B, C, and you got to take A, if you relate to that, and connect with them and touch them and say, look, man, I'm similar with you in A. Let's get off subject and talk about A, okay? And then come back to the questionnaires and then take out of the next open-ended question a couple of things and go off subject and talk about that. So in a nutshell, they gotta like you. If they don't like you, they're not gonna give you their house. If they don't like you, they're not gonna give you a deal of 60 cents on a dollar. Okay? In this business, dealing with motivated sellers, it's very, very, very important that there's report building, okay? There's tons of investors out there doing what we're doing, okay? So what is going to make the difference between you and the other investor? You know the answer to that is report building, guys, okay? And how long should it take to do a report building over the phone? Guys, I'm a very, very busy guy. I own 3 businesses. I manage a lot of people virtually. I have people in India. I have a lot of things going on, guys. I do my mentoring. I have a lot of students, okay? But guys, when I get on the phone with a seller, I'm spending 30, 45 minutes of my time with the seller, guys. Even if I can't do the deal, I'm still investing that time into it because I have 2 briefcases and I'm able to solve their problem no matter what. And I'm going to monetize from it and I'm going to help the seller out. So report building is going to take at least over the phone, the first time you talk to them, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. The longer you talk to them, the better likely you are that you're going to get the deal, guys, okay? So that's very, very important about report building, okay? And your first strategy when you get the seller over the phone is to build rapport, for them to like you, okay? And to gather information and pull the curtain back up and identify the symptoms of their motivation and try to dig more to find the real symptoms and what's caused it. Because the symptoms is not going to tell you what is the cause, okay? The symptoms are just smoke flags where you know where to go and hunt or dig for the actual problems, and it's your job to actually dig and find the actual problem and then solve it, because sellers are going to tell you, hey, this is the problem, because sometimes, a lot of times, they're embarrassed or whatever the situation may be, okay? Now, guys, at this stage of calling and getting information and talking to sellers and getting a report, we are not, let me repeat this, we are not negotiating numbers. We are not being negative. We are not arguing with the seller. We are not debating with the seller. Let me give you some examples. If the seller says, hey, my house has a lot of equity, and you know for a fact that their house is upside down, don't negotiate with them. Don't argue with them. Don't debate about it. What you say is okay. What I say is sure. When I say sure, that means I don't really agree with you, but I'm just not going to disagree with you, okay? And at this time, there's no, or in the whole negotiation, guys, not at this time, the whole phase. You don't really want to be saying negative stuff towards the seller or putting the seller in a situation that they feel bad about themselves. Okay, let me give you an example. When I talk to a seller, I never tell the seller, okay, are you behind in payments? No, that's too negative, okay? I detach the seller from their problem. So what I say is, Mr. Seller, tell me how many payments is the house behind. Notice, the house, not you, the house. I detach the seller from their problem. Now the seller could feel relief and answer my problem without feeling embarrassed, okay? So another way, for example, is when the seller tells me they have equity in the property and I know they have no equity. I don't say, Mr. Seller, you don't have equity. What I say is, Mr. Seller, once I buy your house and when I try to sell it, here's X and Y and Z, and see how I'm going to run it and bring money out of my pocket. So I shift the problem to me, and they're able to see the situation when it's not them. Okay, I mean, it's so simple, but it's complex, guys. But just remember that, no, at this phase, you don't want to be negative. At this phase, you don't want to negotiate with them, and even when you negotiate, you don't want to ever negotiate negatively, guys. You don't want to put people down. That's just not the right way to do it, okay? You might win the battle, you might win the negotiation, but I promise you this, you will not get the fucking deal, okay? You will not, okay? Because if they don't like you, there's no report, and you're trying to buy for 50 cents on a dollar or 60 cents on a dollar, all right? So you got to make sure the report is there. If you don't know nothing about real estate, you have no experience in sales, no negotiation, if you build report, you're going to get deals, guys. I don't care if you know rock from Adam. Okay, here's the last point. Guys, when you talk to the seller from the initial conversation throughout the middle all the way to closing, you always want to tell them how you want to buy their house, how you love their house, how you really want to buy them. You want to give them positive stuff, okay? You don't want them to get off the phone with you and look for another investor because you give them mixed messages that you're not sure about buying property. Guys, we're real estate investors. We're here to buy as many properties as possible. I personally want to buy as many properties as possible. Now, if the numbers work, I'm going to buy properties all day long. If the numbers work, I'm going to buy properties all day long. So when I talk to a seller, I tell them, I really want to buy your property. I'm 100% confident that we're able to work something out to create a win-win situation for you and for me, okay? It's got to be a win-win. It's not just about them, and it's just not about me, okay? It's a win-win. And I'm going to show you an episode on how to negotiate to create win-win situation, guys, okay? So the last point is that I just made is that be very positive over the phone with the seller. Tell them you're interested. Tell them that you're going to solve their problem. Tell them that they should consider the house sold. Things of that nature when you get off the phone. So in the stage one, you're going to ask them the question. You're going to be very positive. You're going to just collect information. You're going to collect the symptoms. You're going to try to diagnose the problem, see what the real problem is. Okay? And meanwhile, you're telling them positive stuff that how you want to buy their property. And right before you get off the phone, what I say is, hey, Mr. Seller, I'm going to roll up my sleeve and I will give you a call back in 3 hours or tomorrow or whatever. I'm going to roll my sleeve, do the numbers, and give you a call back. But I'm very, very interested in the property. I know I want to buy this property. I know we're going to buy this property. I know we're going to create a win-win situation. And then what's happening is that you're going to go to step 2, which is it's going to be in a different module, but you're going to text me the seller fact sheet, and I will analyze it and get back with you, which is step 2, which is not this module, it's the next module. So for this module here, the most important thing you got to take out of here is building rapport and then not being negative with the seller and always giving them positive feedback that you're very interested, that you want to buy their house, that you're going to solve their problems. Because if the seller is motivated, one of these briefcases will work, because these 2 briefcases is basically 99% of all the options they have, okay? The only things that these 2 briefcases will not do is bankruptcy, foreclosure. But everything else under the moon and the star is covered in our 2 briefcases. And that's why I've taken so much time and energy to create this infrastructure to make 9 out of 10 deals hatch, guys, because time is money, marketing costs money, okay? This is Mike with Mr. Investor, Real Estate Dojo. Talk to you soon. Go out there, be hungry, make it happen. No excuses, guys. Don't feel sorry for yourself, okay? There's no reason. You got your legs, you got your feet, you're alive, you're not in the hospital bed. Make it happen, guys. Don't listen to the naysayers, okay? This is America.